My thought of the day for today is, what if you're still afraid? What if, even though our news feed at this point is full of our pastors, our Christian friends, and everyone's beginning to put out positive scriptures and thoughts of inspiration, telling us do not be afraid, and we know that we shouldn't be, but what if we're still afraid? What if we're still scared and we don't know what to do? The other night, in a conversation I was having with some close friends, the question was put out there: is fear an emotion or a choice? And Kevin and I were on the same page that fear is an emotion, but we have a choice on how we respond. And because we're honestly right now, if there's anyone who says they're not afraid at all, if they're not feeling any kind of fear of the future of getting sick or family members getting sick or any of the potential threats of change due to this virus, then they're lying. Because if you have or they don't have a beating heart, because we all feel fear of some degree. We're designed to feel fear. God gave us fear. It was His choice. He designed us that way so that we would be able to respect things that are bigger than ourselves, respect things that can harm us or that have power over us. And that's how we're supposed to fear God, in a way that we respect Him and His power and His ability and His glory and His awesomeness. But the enemy has twisted it and he's framed it in a way that we think our fears will protect us, and we grasp onto it and we run these fears through our heads over and over and over again, and we become overwhelmed by these thoughts of all of our fears. And when this happens, it can paralyze us and keep us from wanting to do anything because we don't know what's going to happen. Now, God tells us, do not be afraid, do not fear, more than anything else in the Bible. But He never said do not feel fear, because you're going to feel fear. It's not being overcome by your fear, not letting it run your thoughts, not letting it control your actions, not letting it hold us back from things in our life. And at this point you might be thinking, okay, well, how do I not become overcome by my fears? How do I not be afraid? Because right now I'm still afraid. And I don't know when I'm going to go back to work. I don't know when things are going to get back to normal. I don't know when my next paycheck is. I don't know if I'm going to get sick. I don't know if my kids are going to get sick. I don't know if maybe my parents are going to get sick. I don't know what to do. And the starting place of not being afraid is figuring out what you're not going to do. God says do not be afraid. Do not become overcome by your fears. So you need to look at those things that allow you to become overcome by your fears. And those things you're not going to do. Starting with, we're not going to lash out at people because we don't know what's going on and all of these unknowns. I'm not going to scroll down my news feed when I start feeling these thoughts attack me. I'm not going to play out a million possible scenarios in my head of what's going to happen, what's going to go wrong, or who's going to take the kids if I get sick. I'm not going to overreact to every little news title, every little clickbait, or every post from another friend that's going through anxiety. Find all these things that cause your anxiety and don't do them. All these things that are causing us to get our minds wound up, traveling in circles of all of the unknowns, all of the what ifs, all of these things we're not going to do, because that will make you be overcome by your fears, and it will paralyze you from not wanting to make any steps in any directions. Now, I'm going to read you a scripture and I'm going to leave you with that. And I want you to do for this scripture is I want you to think about how it relates to the thoughts in your minds and all of your anxiety that you're facing and the fears that you have, and I want you to think about Jesus speaking to that. And the scripture comes from Mark chapter 4, verses 35 through 41. And it says, that day when evening came, He said to His disciples, let's go over to the other side. Leaving the crowd behind, they took Him along just as He was, in the boat. They were there with other boats with them also. A furious squall came up, and the waves broke over the boat so that it was nearly swamped. And Jesus was in the stern, sleeping on a cushion. And the disciples woke Him and said to Him, Teacher, don't you care if we drown? He got up and rebuked the wind and said to the waves, Quiet, be still. And then the wind died down and it was completely calm. And He said to His disciples, Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith? They were terrified and asked each other, Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey Him. Hear Jesus speaking to your storm today. Thank you for listening. Share this with a friend. Have a great day, and remember, be excellent to each other.